How long were you working on that fake punt, and when did you first realize that he could throw that well?
Who, Braden?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Braden, he's a true athlete. I always knew he could throw the ball. I mean, if you look at his Jets tape, he actually threw a fake against Cleveland, so it's not like nobody didn't know he could throw the ball. But it was just something, we thought about maybe the few weeks back, just something we could keep in our back pocket, just in case the situation came to fruition. And, kudos to the guys. When something like that is up, it's all on the guys executing it well and being confident in it. And, they did a really good job over the last, however long we've been working on that to get the old okay. And, whenever it came up, just the communication between myself and Coach Sirianni, and just any way we could help this team out. That's what our job is on special teams, to be an energy, spark of energy. You could feel a little bit of that spark of energy when Braden threw that ball to OZ, and OZ did a great job. One, protecting the ball after he did catch it. You got guys coming out the stack. So just out of those guys, did a heck of a job of just executing the game plan and really just going through with it.
How much go into making that call in that moment? You mentioned the communication between you and Nick, but what actually has to happen between when the third down play doesn't convert and then when you actually make the call and execute the play?
Yeah, it was just kind of fortunate enough that it was a flip of the quarter, so there was an opportunity maybe to get a little insight with Nick before, the offense went out there. We had full confidence the offense was going to get that 3rd and 2. We just had it in our back pocket that we were able to say, hey, if something bad does happen, we have this. If you feel confident with it, we feel good with it. And, just, again, like the communication here has been outstanding between everybody from top down. So it's nothing that we were scared of or, miscommunicated. Once it was called and, we got the green light, the guys executed again. It took all the...
Is it like if you make the call and then there's a look that you don't like, can they just get out of that and punt?
Yeah, we always have something where, if something odd happens, something we hadn't seen before, there was something built in where we could just get into our regular punt and get going right there. It's nothing that we felt afraid of in terms of we had an answer to something we didn't know. So it was just one of those things where it happened that, it drew up perfectly and they executed it.
Who came up with the play, and was there something on tape that they showed you that you thought you'd get a good look with it?
Yeah, it was just, Tyler Brown and Joe Panunzio do an awesome job of just getting everybody ready throughout the weeks. It's just something that you come up with, or you see something, even from around the league, you see things of, what's going on. On Mondays, I watch every snap of every game around the NFL, and I just try to get a pulse of what the flavor is of the year in terms of the whole NFL. But it's just something we had seen, something that we thought, all right, we got a guy that could throw. We have, all these gunners do a great job, and it starts on Wednesday with Tyler going through his meeting, how detailed his meeting is, and just an opportunity of like, hey, if we get this opportunity, let's not be afraid of it. Let's detail up, let's execute it, let's make sure that we're all on the same page. So it takes a whole, group effort. It's not just one guy like, hey, just throwing it up there. It was all of us communicating it out, making sure we felt good about it. And like I said before, those 11 guys are the guys out there on Sundays or Mondays or whenever we're playing, and they got to execute, and they did a heck of a job of executing it. The detail was perfect. Braden laid it out there. OZ made a heck of a catch, secure the ball, and, flip of the field.
Along those lines, does Olamide have to do anything in particular to kind of hide the fact that he's out there as a gunner instead of the normal personnel?
Not really. I mean, if you really look at our punt coverage, he's been out there, in that LA Rams game. It's not like it's his first time ever doing it. So it's something that we didn't have to feel like, oh, we got to hide him or something, or, it's got to be something of deceit. It's just one of those things where we felt comfortable. If we did, have to get out of the check and he has to go cover, he's done it before. So it's nothing that we felt scared of. But again, those guys out there being full for it, being confident in it. A lot of times you get those big moments and gets called, you get, a little sweaty on the palms, but Braden did a heck of a job, OZ did a heck of a job, but nothing that we felt like it was deceitful or anything. It's just one of those things where we felt we could get an extra possession for our offense.
Is that something you try to put on tape for Oz with this in mind later down the road, as opposed to maybe Josh or Keely being the gunner?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is it something you put on tape on purpose earlier so it doesn't look like deceit when you want to run the bait?
Oh, with OZ? Nah, not really. It was just one of those things where, we felt, him being a wide receiver is an opportunity. Maybe he could down the ball in the plus 50 area. He has really good ball skills. It's nothing that we thought, oh, we get this later down the road. It's an added help, yes, but it's nothing where we thought, we ran it OZ was out there week 5. Let's wait till week 13 to go out there and run him again. It's just happened to fall that way, and again, we're just very fortunate that all the execution was perfect and getting that extra possession.
You mentioned having a punter who can throw it, and man, he did it twice with the Jets. Have you been around punters who you're not confident throwing the ball, and so you can't have those fakes in?
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys that can't throw a football. It's just one of those things. There's tons of people that can't throw a football but are really good at the other things they do. So it's just one of those things where Braden's just an all-around athlete, shoot the ball, golf, throw the ball, punt, kick. I mean, he does it all. So it's one of those things where if you do have somebody that you feel comfortable with that can throw it, I mean, Bonesy had Johnny Hecker, and he was a high school quarterback. So if you have that opportunity, it does kind of give you an added confidence. But going out there and, presenting that play and executing it, just, it felt good to help out the team in any way we can.
How were you able to leading the team in special team snaps, and he got waived last week? What is your role in terms of, like, when they waive a player that has that big a role in special teams? Do they come to you and get a feel for if there's a player that you think is ready to step into the roles that he has? And are you part of that process in terms of the decision to waive a player like that?
Yeah, I think Howie and Nick do an awesome job of just handling the whole roster. And it's my job as a special teams coordinator, regardless of, who has the most snaps. Injuries happen, and it takes away a guy that has the most snaps for you. So it's my job, starting in OTAs to the draft, to get all these guys up to speed. And, the practice squad players do an unbelievable job of, one, helping the active roster get ready for the games. And it's not like I don't take notice of that in terms of what they're doing. If they're giving us fits, they're going to do a good job against the rest of the league. So being able to have a practice squad you've seen there's been a handful of guys already on our practice squad that have played special teams for us this year. So it's nothing that we didn't worry about. Obviously, when a guy, such as Christian Ellis, not just how good of a player he is, but how great of a person is, it's always tough, but that's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the NFL. But again, Howie and Nick do a great job managing the roster, and we're always going to try and get the best out of these guys to help this team out.
So to follow up on that, who kind of stepped up for you to kind of cover those snaps that Christian was playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a full-on effort. You find guys that can do different things and different traits that, a little niche. Ben Van Sumeren's done a great job since being called up. Nolan, those guys, Jack and Grant in the tight end room, they don't blink regardless of the situation. So as long as these guys in here, starting tomorrow, understand what their role is and what can possibly happen, we feel confident going in with that game plan and starting against Seattle, who's also a very, very, very good special teams unit. They've always have been, with Izzo leading them. So again, we have our work cut out this week going to the Pacific Northwest long trip. But again, as long as these guys feel, they understand what their role is and could do it at 100%, we feel confident going into that game.
I'm sure you saw the 49ers punter call his own number. Does your punter have that type of leeway?
Just through I don't think Mitch has that leeway in San Francisco. He just took it.
Kyle didn't really answer it. I'm sure he doesn't, but.
Yeah, shoot, players make plays, I guess. Obviously, heck of a job out of Mitch, and Mitch is a true athlete as well. Rugby player, played professionally. He saw something and took off with it. Unfortunately, they had the offsetting penalties, but again, some things, I'm sure the whole media is going the other way if he gets tackled before the first down. But heck of a play out of Mitch. I'll give it to him. He's one of those guys, and even Mitch, I just saw it and gone. So, but we always have our parameters, what we want to do and what's going to happen throughout the game.
If I can follow up on the previous question, Jack Stoll saw an uptick in snaps this game. Was that a function of the changes in personnel or Dallas Goedert being back and Jack having less of a role in offense?
Yeah, especially is always fluid. Even when Dallas was up and playing, Jack kind of had to took a couple because of who we had out there as personnel. And it was just another opportunity for Jack to go out there. And it's not like Jack has never played in those positions. So, and when, you have these conversations with them on Wednesday and Thursday, like, hey, you're going to be up on this. He's ready to go. He's trying to help this team as much as possible. He took an extra uptick on a punt return. Obviously, we only had one. But, getting those guys back and allowing Cove to get an 18-yard return kind of flipped the field a little bit from backed up. I thought it was a really good job out of everyone on that punt return team.
In terms of Ben, what have you seen stand out about him, especially when it comes to his kick coverage ability?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find guys that, are 6'2", 240, 6'1", 240 that can run at that speed and still have that feel as a linebacker. And it helps to have tip of the spear guys in terms of Josh Jobe and Sidney Brown to kind of help him paint the picture of where I have to go and everything of that nature. But Ben's done an unbelievable job. He doesn't blink. He's ready to go whenever his number has been called and when it is called. So, more kudos to him being ready for his opportunity and taking advantage of it.
What's it like being on the other side of, Aubrey's having the season he's having, 30 in a row, kicking 59 and 60. You've had a great kicker. Is it kind of helpless watching somebody that high?
I wouldn't say it's helpless. It's more, you respect everyone in this league. They're not in this league just because it's an easy way to get in this league. He's in that opportunity. He's in that moment because he is good. And Aubrey's done an unbelievable job. Bones has done an unbelievable job with him. 30 for 30 is nothing to bad at. It's a heck of a job, and kudos to him just understanding his training and staying within himself. A lot of guys may try to get outside of their own mechanics, and that's how you get some misses. But you don't feel helpless. You just you tip your cap and you respect the guy for going out there and converting a 59 and a 60-yarder. I'm sure they do the same when Jake goes out there in the Buffalo game and he hits a 59-yarder. They just tip their cap and go on to the next play because you never know when the next opportunity you're going to have.